public. Oh,
Sorry.
got it. The public of particular interest in any specific items on this agenda should make plans to be in person and not to attend virtually. Okay, so let's open the meeting. Roll call. Mr. Dwyer is not here, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Bill Bernard,
Here.
Adam Reed, Amanda Reed, sorry.
That's okay, here.
Thank you. John Beal,
Here.
Matt Proctor,
Here.
Adam Burney,
Here.
and Richard Tremblay, which is I am here. All right. Any public comment this evening?
It does not appear so.
All right, not hearing any, then we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is the approval of our minutes. Any discussion regarding the Stormwater Task Force meeting minutes from February 16th, 2023?
Oh, good.
All right. There's no further discussion, then I will ask for a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
you. Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
That needs to be a roll call vote, Mr. Chair. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Bill?
Well, me and Bill don't vote.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell us my first meeting? All right.
It's all right.
Amanda?
Aye.
John?
Approve.
Matt?
Aye.
And I for myself. The minutes are approved. All right. Task force members updates. Be next on our agenda. I actually have an update. I'll go through that. Take me a few minutes here. And at the last meeting in February, I was asked to review the Central Mass Stormwater website and report back. So I'd like to just give you an overview of what I saw. There's a lot of information on this page. The Central Massachusetts Regional Stormwater Coalition website is packed with information regarding stormwater and stormwater management. We could spend hours reviewing this site in its entirety. But this evening, I'm only going to highlight a few of the things that kind of stood out to me. On the page under a section named About Us, there is a slideshow presentation showing the communities that are working together to effectively control stormwater within their communities. It's interesting and informative. I think it's worth viewing if you have time. Also listed in this section, there's a list of project partners. There are a list of things that are currently underway or being done. And there's also an interesting list of things that have already been accomplished. And that was also very interesting to go through. Some of the other things that are discussed, Coalition has done, or some things they've done, is they have developed a stormwater pollution prevention plan. They have developed training and outreach materials for town personnel and for volunteers as well on this site. They have developed sump pump discharge policy for the towns to review, and they have created a stormwater best management practices. That was a very interesting read to see how other towns are approaching the things that we have going on. Under the other drop-down section, which is named Toolbox, it contains several links which are very helpful too. They talk about the bylaws, regulations, supports. This section also contains several presentations discussing audits, bylaws, stormwater rules and regulations, and guidance on permits regarding land disturbance and stormwater management. Other topics that I found in there were culvert structural assessments, mapping equipment that is being used, operation and maintenance plans for their templates for the towns to adopt, stormwater pollution prevention plans, and a lot more. There's also a section on this website that assists the municipalities. In this section, they discussed funding your stormwater programs. And there's also a list of participating towns that are currently working with this. And there are a lot of other municipal resources on that page. You check through it. There's also a section here for homeowners. Section here for homeowners. In this section, they have a mapping that shows the 28 watersheds in Massachusetts. Resource section containing links to the Mass DEP stormwater, the EPA stormwater, the Nashua Valley Watershed Council, and the Massachusetts Watershed Council, just to name a few of the links that are contained in there. Stormwater management section contains information about soil erosion, your car care, your pet waste, septic tank maintenance, that's very important, and watering and efficient landscaping, and of course more. The final section listed on the website, it's a section labeled, here you will find information releasing about the EPA stormwater policies and the Massachusetts DEP stormwater policy, as well as that MS4 community annual report. I reviewed the Lunenburg report online, and I was able to view the regulated area map, the notice of intent that was signed by the town back in September of 2018, and an authorization letter from the town. The annual reports are also there as well. I've reviewed them from 2019, 20, and 21. WPI is listed on here as well, and they have a water resource outreach center containing information for the education of grade school students. And that had an educator's resource guide and a student workbook and supplemental education materials, which I thought was also very interesting. The website has an area where you can sign up to receive their emails if you would like, their updates, and you may even sign to become a volunteer if you wish. The final thing I'll point out is there's another interesting site that is linked to this site, and it's called Think Blue, Massachusetts. This site is also an educational site to assist residents and businesses to do their part in reducing pollution and runoff into the lakes, rivers, and streams. The site explains what stormwater is in its simplest terms. They call it Stormwater 101. It is very, very basic, but it's also informative if you don't know, where you're headed with this. They also provide a lot of information for residents, developers, businesses, and industrial facilities on that page as well. So it's an interesting site to check out for stormwater information as well. So in closing, I would just say that probably these two sites may be something you'd want to bookmark on your computer and keep them for references. That was the centralmassstormwater.org and thinkbluemassachusetts.org website. Very, very informative. I was glad I went through them. Okay, that's all I have. Does anybody else?
I'll just give a quick update. At the last meeting, you had asked about getting a SharePoint site for meeting materials and files. I did talk with the IT department about that, and it is something we can do. I've been futzing around with it, and I haven't finalized anything yet, but I need to sit down a little bit further, and I need a volunteer who only has the email access account, so I can try and send them some materials to see if it shares the way that it's supposed to, and if not, then I'll have to go back to IT and figure something out. So I don't know if you want me to try that with you, Mr. Chair, if anybody else would prefer to be the one who's the guinea pig. Does everybody here have a Lunenburg ma.gov account?
I don't know. I used to, but then they changed over the system. I don't know if I have one.
Yes, if you had a lunenburgonline.com
Yes,
account,
yes.
it's been transferred,
Okay,
but your password's probably no longer active, so you'll need to reach out to IT
okay,
to get the link to that. And I think it's the temp password is good for 3 days. So if you email help@suzor.it.com, SUZOR,
okay.
they should be able to get you sorted out with that.
Yeah, I'll need to listen, update that.
Okay.
Adam, when I brought that up at the last meeting, I was just bringing it up as a suggestion. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that. Is this something that we should actively pursue?
I think it's an excellent idea. We use the planning board, and it's worked well and it allows for you to have access without that, oh, where was that file? You can just go to that link, all that stuff. And then what we can do is when Bill sends me stuff, I can upload it there. Bill can upload it there, and then when we send out the agenda, we can say any materials are located on the site. The link will be in that email. So
It does sound like a good idea to me, and you can certainly email me things at my address, and we can go back and forth until we get it fine tuned if you would like. I
All right,
think
then
it's
I'll try that
good
with you,
idea.
Mr. Chair.
okay. Thank you. Any other members? Anything to bring up? Updates?
Oh,
No? Yeah, okay, well, hearing none. Bill, you sent a couple of emails around to update on data collection. Do you want to talk about that at this time or?
Sure.
All right.
So the data collection actually started today. It was kind of a test day. So they were out, they had not an iPad, they had an Android type pad, and they had a GPS unit. They were getting the invert elevations of the pipes in a couple of catch basins. And the cover elevation. They were looking at the condition of the catch basin and the condition of the pipes. And then they were mapping from the pipe from one catch basin either to the outfall or to the next catch basin or to the manhole. So that just kind of kicked off today. I think they told us it would take 2 months.
I think that's what they said.
Yeah, they'll be out pretty much every day, 5 days a week for 2 months and get as much as they can for us.
that's the question.
Yeah.
So use the GPS data to record the elevation above sea level, of the catch basins. How accurate does that need to be?
The GPS was, sometimes it was 0.6 of an inch. And another time it was like almost 2 feet. So it depends on the signal they're getting.
GPS is only accurate, maybe like 30 feet. Might be better in
Yeah.
elevation, but in
Yeah.
horizontal.
Yeah, well, they, like I said, 0.6 of an inch at one point.
Well, that's difference
Yeah.
between precision and accuracy. So
Yeah.
it may be reporting that
Mhm.
precise, but the accuracy of
Yeah.
that is subject. So if you're really relying on, you need to know exactly how accurate you
Yeah.
need to be, because you're probably only accurate like 10 or 10, 20 feet in elevation.
But at least being within a couple of feet, that's better than what we have now. We have no plans now, so.
And
Yeah, no, I just want to know, do you know the difference between accuracy and precision?
Why'd you tell them?
Okay.
Mhm.
If you know the length of this table, if you measure the length of this table, it's like a millionth of an inch,
Mhm.
but you have a ruler which is off by like a half an inch. You can report it to a millionth of an inch, but
Mhm.
it's not reporting the true length of the table. Okay, subtle difference, but it's important. So you can, it might report to a fraction of an inch or a
Mhm.
foot, but it may not be accurate to a
Okay.
foot.
And I think the reality for this exercise is that's less important,
Yes,
because what we're doing is we're mapping the drainage system.
yes,
So you're gonna see most of this stuff
yes.
when you're out there, because it's touching the surface, especially with the catch basins and stuff. And it's letting us know where the pipes go, from which catch basin to which
Yes.
catch basin, and which way the water's flowing.
Yes.
And so it might not be entirely spatially accurate on the GIS map in relation to the parcel lines. But from a system-wide perspective, it allows us to look at it and have an understanding of where things are happening. So if there's an illicit discharge, or we have an outfall that's running in dry weather, or we find surfactants, we can say, all right, well, we know this goes here, goes here, goes here. and the investigation portion gets dialed in a lot quicker.
Mhm.
As opposed to, oh, look at that, some soapy water. I wonder where the hell that's coming from. And you're popping covers and you're doing this and you're doing, and so this,
So my hunch is whenever they laid the stormwater catch basins, they did an exact elevation kind of sort of survey.
yes, and so,
That's what I would hang my hat on. So he just wanted to know roughly.
yes, so like when Bill goes to replace a catch basin,
Yes,
he's going to survey that road
yes.
and he's gonna get a survey accurate,
To the
instrument accurate.
Inches,
E-
yes.
Yeah, rim elevation, all of that and invert so that when he rebuilds it, it's gonna function.
Yes,
This is to understand in general pipe pitch
Got
and
it. As
flow
long
and
as
that kind of
you
stuff.
understand that.
Yeah.
Subtle difference, but it's important.
Mhm.
And you may walk down a level street and look at 5 catch basins and the elevation may be doing this because
Mhm.
the GPS system is based on satellites that are
Right.
streaming through space at 5 miles per second.
Mhm.
And it needs to know the precise position of every single one of these satellites, and it uses triangulation
Mhm.
to try and figure out exactly where you want the surface of the earth. And the accuracy of that is on the order of like 8 meters in elevation.
And so this was an update on the asset management grant, the data collection for that, which will be. Once we have that, it'll allow us to. Check off a box on the MS4 in year 10, where we have to have the whole system mapped, or at least get a significant portion of the way there.
Make sense?
It does.
Okay, good.
It does.
That's not you understand, that's all.
No, that's good. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I think we beat that up pretty good. I think
Yeah.
we covered that.
All right, great. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, ongoing items. Adam, anything on this? I'll reach out to you for that.
So Bill just gave the update on the asset management grant and the data collection. It looks like going back a step to
Yeah.
5, Bill had sent some numbers for cost expenditures through the end of March. So it looks like we're getting closer and closer to a more comprehensive picture of what we're spending.
Yeah.
Month in and month out, and as things shift from snow and ice into spring operations. I don't know if any of you have noticed, I've had the pleasure of passing the street sweeper 3 or 4 times, because they've been sweeping my neighborhood. But they're out there. I don't think I've ever seen a street sweeper on my street, so good job, Bill.
Yeah.
Uh,
17 miles, great. Yeah, so
Oh.
I kind of put goals together for the year. And one of my goals was to do clean 25% of the roads and clean 25% of the catch basins. And my foreman said, I'm gonna beat that for you. So he's got the sweeper out every day now. So we're gonna beat the numbers for the past few years. 25%, I'm sure he's gonna beat that too.
I didn't realize Kilburn Street was so wide.
Yeah.
So the previous meeting, didn't we say that we're just using salt in the winter now?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so the volume of sand and debris that you pick up, is that a lot less now?
Haven't looked at numbers yet. They're
Yeah.
telling me they're picking up quite a bit.
Okay.
You know, a lot of
Where's that coming?
the
from?
grass and stuff creeps in over
Okay.
time.
Yeah, I
It's
think
coming-
a
it's coming from
these leaf litter,
Yeah.
yeah, leaf litter, grass litter,
Yeah.
Okay.
siltation from,
From-
you know, yeah, from undeveloped parcels that
Okay.
have loose dirt.
right.
Yeah, you know, when you walk down the side of the road and
Yep.
there's that fuzzy line between
Yep, yep,
the
yep.
dirt and the actual pavement.
Okay,
Yeah,
So they're, now, since they haven't done as many roads, once they sweep those roads. You would think that year in, year out, as they get back on them, it's gonna be less and less, but where we're in a catch-up cycle, there's probably gonna be a larger deposit currently.
Yeah.
And as you do catch basins, you're not probably pulling out sand, you're pulling out leaves and muck and stuff
Okay.
like that.
so 25% of all the roads this year, is that what you said?
that's the goal.
Okay,
So
so
about
after 4 years,
25
what do you
miles
think
more or
You
less.
see a difference.
You would think,
It'd switch from like sand and silt and particles like that to more organic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they're keeping track, you know, what roads and how much they're picking up. Yeah.
Are you still dumping down the,
At the landfill,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so on that spreadsheet I sent out, it looks like it cut off the months, right? I have October, November, December, January. It cut off February and March. February was actually 0. We were chasing snowflakes. We weren't chasing drainage.
Right.
And March was only about less than $3,000. But I can already tell you April's gonna be much bigger. We've
Right.
already spent a few days out with the backhoe. We got what, 4 or 5 locations where the beavers and whatever, the sticks are just jamming up the end of the culvert. And they've been out doing that a few times already. And then all the sweeping, right, will go towards this.
Sure.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
April's gonna be big.
There's a lot of, yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of effort going in.
yeah.
All right, great.
And the other sheet was all that stuff we've hired out.
Yeah.
And that's for the fiscal year. And that's
I think that's sort of over.
Yeah. $36,483 for this fiscal year and climbing, right? Because we're still
Mhm.
doing work.
Yeah, and you got 3 more heavy months of stormwater stuff coming up between road maintenance and
Yeah.
just stormwater maintenance, because
Right.
you say you have someone starting Monday who's gonna be out in the clamshell scooping
Yeah.
basins.
Yeah, so we actually hired a new equipment operator. So now we'll have a full staff, so we'll be able to sweep and catch basin clean at the same time, which I don't think they've done since I don't know when.
Okay.
So hopefully it goes well. We're in good shape.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Great report.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have anything?
And we'll just, if we're gonna go on to ongoing items, which we touched on a little bit, and we're kind of jumping back and forth, the demonstration BMP.
Yes,
I think Bill got an adjusted cost on that, last month, prior to the last meeting, so it's actually an affordable option, there was an additional 0 in a formula, I think, so
Something like that.
it
Yeah.
inflated it to hundreds of thousands instead of tens of thousands. And, I think you spoke with the superintendent, you said, and she's on board, and you
Yeah.
and CEI have started talking about potential locations at the high school.
Correct. So I had CEI look at the high school, the campus there, where we could potentially put a rain garden, and they came up with a couple spots. So I ran it by the superintendent, she's on board, it's something I think we can, collaborate with the students, right? They have a horticulture class, so maybe they could do the plantings, and in the future, they could do some of the maintenance and the upkeep with the rain garden, so it looks like it's gonna work out well. And our consultant CEI, they had a second crew in today, they were at the high school, they did an aerial survey with a drone, and they were doing some ground survey too. So that's getting kicked off. Yeah,
And do we have funding for that?
yes,
Oh, excellent.
yeah, yep, I have enough funding in my budget
Oh, it's
for
in-
the
okay.
engineering.
For the
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Mhm.
do we expect that to be in this year if we move forward?
Maybe by
Fall,
September,
yeah.
October, it's. there's a
Wow, that's-
possi- Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
How much funding was available?
My total budget for stormwater is $100,000.
Specifically for this rig. So this is the MS4 project they're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, the demonstration
Okay, so just
project,
the demonstration.
the engineering, I should have brought you the number, I don't have it off the top of my head, it wasn't too crazy.
Yeah.
probably less than 10.
It might have been a little more than 10, yeah.
I mean, and the construction of it is probably between 10 and 15, depending on how big it is. And some of that is probably not an outlay, it's just staff time, because you gotta dig a hole. And you gotta fill it with the special media, so really the cost is the design, plus
Yeah.
the purchase of the media, and then the purchase of the plants. And then whatever installation, so if we get students doing installation, we get DPW doing the excavation. Then it's just a matter of getting the material trucked in and everything put
Yeah.
into place in the order that it goes.
Probably put some of that out to bid or use.
Sure.
One of our contractors, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but if we have an existing contract too,
Yeah.
then
So I'm trying to envision exactly how big this rain garden would be. So you said a separate line item for 10,000 for engineering and like 10 to 15 for the materials?
Well, no, I think it's,
all one line.
we didn't specifically budget for that, so
Okay,
it hadn't been specifically called out.
okay, so 10 to 50 for the whole project including.
I would say probably close to, it's gonna end up, no, I mean, the demonstration BMP wasn't specifically budgeted for. Bill's working within the budget that's allotted annually. So I would say soup to nuts, it's probably a $25,000-ish nut,
Yeah.
for the design and
In
construction.
that size, we don't know until we know the location.
Yeah,
Because whatever hard surface water we're catching is gonna dictate the size of that rain garden. Right, 'Cause it's gonna be truly functional, it's not just it's not just an example, it's gonna,
yeah,
it's gonna be able to handle whatever flow we're trying to pull.
Right.
correct.
So that size can vary pretty
Mhm.
quick,
Yeah.
whether you're catching 4 parking spots or half that parking lot.
Right.
The size is drastically different.
Right, so we're looking at the, in front of the high school where the kind of the bus turnaround is.
Okay.
Right in front where you go into the auditorium, there's a big grassy area out front.
Okay,
We're looking at that area.
So you'd be catching whatever is on that
Right.
concrete walk that enters into the middle high school.
all right,
Right, then we'd have to pipe it out, so there's a little bit of work there,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
So I'll get you the estimated numbers for the next meeting.
Okay, nice to,
Yeah.
nice to see the site.
Yeah.
And just kind of see how big it's gonna be and try to estimate exactly where the water's coming from, what the.
Okay. And I have, just a concept sketch, it's just kind of an aerial photo.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of drawn in, this is where we're thinking about putting it,
sure,
so I could send you that too.
Okay,
great.
Yeah.
That's an excellent project. I'm glad the school and the kids and horticulture, they'll all be involved in that. That's a win-win-win.
Yeah.
Great
I
job.
agree.
Oh.
Right.
I don't know if it's my end or yours, and my screen seems to be freezing up every so often, but I'm still
Ooh,
here.
You're in
Yeah,
living
so-
color from here.
That's good here.
Okay. All right. Is that it? Anything else, directors? Anybody have anything they want to discuss or talk about? We're good?
I don't have any,
Just, I sent you guys that MS4 tools and resources. I was kind of looking for training that maybe we could do, and this kind of popped up. And I clicked on a couple of the links on that, and like the website you talked about, Richard, there's a ton of information there. So something good, good resources here.
I mean, we are a member of the Stormwater Coalition, so if you look through their website and you see a training that you think is something that you're interested in, or materials that you want to review, let us know and we can either reproduce them for you or talk about getting you access to those classes.
Great.
Excellent. Great.
And the other thing I found was a Excel spreadsheet that kind of could help you build the stormwater utility. Thought that was pretty interesting, so I sent that along too.
Yeah, that,
I
I
saw
didn't realize
that.
there were so many different sheets in there.
Yeah.
It's certainly worth digging through.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit down the line as we have a more comprehensive data set and we can start to think about wants, needs and funding wise, because I think what that would help you do is back into any sort of fee that might go along with funding an enterprise account. And looking at how that compounds over the years and how you might apply spending and saving some of those funds.
Okay. Very good. Next item then, do directors have any items they want to discuss at our next meeting?
So I will say that I expect at our next meeting, we would look to reorganize, if not in June, because Todd has stepped down from the select board, which is why he's not here. So he's as a select board appointee, once he resigned from that position, he's no longer a member of the Stormwater Task Force. So they'll be holding elections on the 20th, which would be the Saturday before our next meeting. No, I'm sorry.
No, May 18th would be the third Saturday in May if we're going to meet.
Yeah, so it actually would be June that we would do that. Because the election would be on the 20th. And then the select board would meet after that to reorganize and then make their appointments to their committees. So we can continue as we are through May and come back in June with new bodies and new organization.
Okay, does May 18th then work for everybody for our next meeting?
Yes.
All
Yep.
right. Very good. Thank you. Next item would be public comment. Any comment from the public?
I don't see any.
No, I don't either. How about committee members' comments? Anything further?
Nothing further.
I think we
No.
discussed, we did a good job. We discussed quite a bit. All right, then I'd be asking for a motion to adjourn. Do we have a motion?
Motion adjourned.
Second? Okay, roll call vote. Amanda,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
and I for myself. This meeting is closed. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you all.
Thanks.